It was a crisp autumn morning at the wildlife sanctuary, the kind of morning where the air felt fresh and the golden sunlight filtered through the trees, casting long shadows on the ground. The sanctuary, nestled in the heart of the English countryside, was a haven for rescued animals. Among its many inhabitants were two unlikely friends, a gentle lion named Leo and a spirited dog named Max. Their story was one of friendship, separation, and an unforgettable reunion. Leo, a majestic lion with a golden mane, had been rescued from a poorly managed circus 2 years ago. He was malnourished and traumatized when he arrived at the sanctuary. Max, a scrappy terrier mix, had been brought in as a stray around the same time. The sanctuary staff had no idea how the two would interact, but to their surprise they formed an instant bond. Max, with his boundless energy and fearless demeanor, approached Leo without hesitation. The lion, despite his size and strength, seemed to sense Max's friendly intentions. Over time, the two became inseparable. Max would curl up next to Leo during nap time, and Leo would gently nudge Max with his massive paw during playtime. The sanctuary staff often joked that Max thought he was a lion and Leo thought he was a dog. After the initial excitement of their reunion, Leo and Max settled into a routine that felt both familiar and new. Max, ever the energetic companion, would wake up early every morning, barking softly to rouse Leo from his slumber. The lion, though not a morning creature by nature, would stretch lazily and nudge Max with his paw, a gentle reminder that he was awake and ready for the day. The sanctuary staff noticed how Max's presence seemed to bring out a playful side in Leo that they hadn't seen in years. The lion, who had always been calm and regal, now engaged in games of chase with Max, his massive paws thudding against the ground as he pretended to stalk his tiny friend. Max, in turn, would dart between Leo's legs, barking triumphantly as if he had outsmarted the king of the jungle. Visitors to the sanctuary were often mesmerized by the sight of the unlikely duo. Children would press their faces against the enclosure's fence, giggling as Max leaped onto Leo's back, pretending to ride him like a horse. Parents would snap photos, capturing the pure joy of the moment. The sanctuary became a place of wonder, not just for the animals it housed, but for the stories it told. One of the most remarkable aspects of Leo and Max's friendship was how seamlessly they picked up where they had left off. It was as if the 2 years apart had never happened. Animal behaviorists who visited the sanctuary were fascinated by this phenomenon. Dr. Emily Carter, a renowned zoologist, explained, "Animals live very much in the present. While they may remember past experiences, they don't dwell on them the way humans do. For Leo and Max, their bond was never broken, it was just paused." This insight resonated deeply with the sanctuary staff and visitors. It was a reminder that love and friendship are not bound by time or distance. Leo and Max's story became a source of inspiration for many, especially those who had experienced separation from loved ones. To truly understand the depth of their bond, one only needed to observe a typical day in the lives of Leo and Max. Mornings were spent exploring the enclosure, with Max leading the way and Leo following at a leisurely pace. The two would often stop to investigate new scents or sounds, their curiosity mirroring each other's. Lunchtime was a communal affair. The sanctuary staff made sure to provide Leo with a hearty meal of raw meat while Max enjoyed his bowl of kibble nearby. The two would eat side by side, occasionally pausing to nudge each other as if to say, "This is nice, isn't it?" After Leo's departure, the sanctuary felt different. The staff missed the majestic lion's presence, and Max, though he adapted to his new routines, often seemed to gaze wistfully at the empty enclosure where he and Leo had spent so many joyful moments. The bond between the two had left an indelible mark on everyone who had witnessed it, and the sanctuary became a place where visitors came not just to see animals, but to feel the echoes of their extraordinary friendship. Max, ever the resilient little dog, found solace in his new companion Bella. The puppy, a lively golden retriever mix, brought a new kind of energy to Max's life. She was playful and curious, always eager to explore, and her antics reminded Max of his younger days. Though their friendship was different from the one he shared with Leo, it was no less meaningful. Bella helped Max heal, and in return Max became a mentor of sorts, teaching Bella the ropes of life at the sanctuary. The story of Leo and Max had transcended the boundaries of the sanctuary, becoming a global phenomenon. The video of their reunion had been viewed millions of times, and their story had been featured in newspapers, magazines, and television shows around the world. People were captivated by the idea of a lion and a dog forming such a deep bond and the sanctuary received letters and messages from individuals who had been inspired by their friendship. One such letter came from a man named James, who had been struggling with depression. He wrote, "Seeing Leo and Max together reminded me that even in the darkest times, there is hope for connection and joy. Their story gave me the strength to keep going." The sanctuary staff shared these messages with each other, finding comfort and motivation in the knowledge that their work was making a difference. The influx of attention and donations allowed the sanctuary to expand its operations. New enclosures were built, providing more space for the animals to roam and play. A dedicated education center was established, where visitors could learn about animal behavior, conservation, and the importance of protecting wildlife. The sanctuary also partnered with schools and community organizations, offering programs that taught children about empathy and compassion for all living beings. One of the most exciting developments was the creation of a friendship garden, a special area dedicated to Leo and Max. The garden featured a statue of the two friends, their likenesses captured in a moment of playful interaction. Surrounding the statue were plaques sharing their story, along with quotes from visitors and staff about the impact of their friendship. The garden became a place of reflection and inspiration, a tangible reminder of the power of love and loyalty. As the sanctuary grew, so did Max's role. He became something of a mascot, representing the sanctuary's mission of rescue, rehabilitation, and connection. Visitors loved meeting him, and he seemed to have a special sense for knowing when someone needed a little extra comfort. He would approach children who seemed shy, nudging their hands with his nose until they smiled. He would sit quietly beside adults who looked lost in thought, offering his presence as a silent form of support. The staff often joked that Max had a sixth sense for emotions. "He's like a therapy dog," one of the caretakers said. "He just knows how to make people feel better." Max's ability to connect with humans and animals alike made him a beloved figure at the sanctuary, and his story continued to inspire new generations of visitors. Meanwhile, Leo was thriving in his natural habitat at the reserve in Africa. The staff there reported that he had adapted well to his new surroundings, forming bonds with other lions and exploring the vast landscape with a sense of freedom he had never known before. Though he was far from the sanctuary, the staff there made sure to keep in touch, sending updates and photos to the sanctuary in England. One particularly heartwarming update came a few months after Leo's return to Africa. The reserve staff shared a photo of Leo lying under a tree, his golden mane shimmering in the sunlight. Beside him was a young lion cub playfully batting at Leo's tail. The caption read, "Leo has taken on a fatherly role with one of the cubs. It's amazing to see how gentle and patient he is." The sanctuary staff couldn't help but smile at the news. It seemed that Leo, who had once found comfort in the friendship of a tiny dog, was now passing on that kindness to the next generation. Though Leo and Max were living separate lives, the sanctuary staff often wondered if the two friends would ever meet again. The idea of a reunion became a dream shared by many, a symbol of hope and the enduring nature of their bond. Plans were discussed to bring Max to Africa for a visit, but logistical challenges made it difficult to arrange. For Max, life at the sanctuary was full of joy and purpose, but there were moments when he seemed to remember his old friend. On quiet afternoons, he would sit by the fence of Leo's old enclosure, his ears perked up as if listening for the sound of Leo's familiar rumble. The staff would often join him, sharing stories of Leo and reminiscing about the days when the two friends had filled the sanctuary with laughter and love. The story of Leo and Max became more than just a tale of two animals. It became a symbol of the connections that bind us all. Their friendship reminded people that love knows no boundaries, not of species, not of distance, not of time. It was a story that resonated with people from all walks of life, inspiring them to be kinder, more compassionate, and more open to the unexpected joys that life can bring. The sanctuary, once a quiet haven for rescued animals, had become a beacon of hope and a testament to the power of friendship. Visitors left with a renewed sense of purpose, carrying the lessons of Leo and Max's story with them into their own lives. And though the two friends were apart, their legacy lived on, a reminder that even in a world full of challenges, there is always room for love. Years passed, and the sanctuary continued to thrive. Max, now an older dog, spent his days lounging in the sun and playing with Bella, who had grown into a spirited adult. Though he moved a little slower than he used to, his eyes still sparkled with the same mischievous energy that had endeared him to everyone he met. One day, the sanctuary received a letter from the reserve in Africa. Leo, now an elderly lion, was nearing the end of his life. The reserve staff wanted to know if the sanctuary would like to have him back for his final days. The decision was an easy one. When Leo returned to the sanctuary, it was as if no time had passed. Max, though older and slower, bounded toward his old friend with the same enthusiasm he had shown all those years ago. Leo, his mane now tinged with gray, greeted Max with a gentle nuzzle, his deep rumble a familiar sound that brought tears to the eyes of everyone who witnessed it. The two friends spent their final days together side by side, just as they had always been. When Leo passed away peacefully in his sleep, Max stayed by his side, a loyal companion to the very end. The sanctuary held a memorial for Leo, celebrating his life and the incredible bond he had shared with Max. Max lived for a few more years, his days filled with love and companionship. When his time came, he was laid to rest beside Leo in the Friendship Garden, their statue standing as a permanent reminder of the love and loyalty they had shared.